Hello and welcome back to DriveDriverDriven. I'm Humble and here we are post-move. As you can see, this is what I was looking for. Much bigger garage than before. 3-car versus 2-car. Oh yeah, and there's that one too. So yeah, not only do we get a 3-car garage attached to the house, I have this nearly 1,000 square foot 4-car garage shop that is extra deep. Just from eyeballing it, I would say that these garages, or this back wall, is probably about 8 to 10 feet deeper than the old garage was. Well, probably closer to 8 feet, but it's still significant. And for shorter cars like the 7, it's just like so much room for activities. As you can see, still living out of boxes. I haven't unpacked anything. One problem, well, I wouldn't say problem, it could be a benefit depending on how you look at it, is there's very little storage. There's very little anything. Leftover shelf there, some cabinets that are basically falling off the wall there, and work table here. So I have the freedom now. I'm the homeowner, I'm the landlord. I can do whatever I want. And with that freedom is the paralyzation of choice. I have no idea where to start or what I even want it to look like. I have a couple of ideas, like this side of the garage. I want this to be the working bay with plenty of room to set up for having cars in and out. Maybe potentially put a lift in if I think I have enough room to get a car up in this sort of attic space. But yeah, having this kind of double bay set aside for car work projects is so much room. And even burning 2 spots here, I still have parking for 5 cars indoors and so many more out in the driveway. I had thought about replacing this gravel with concrete, but I understand now why they did that, and that's purely for drainage. There's no French drain or anything like that here. And in fact, the slope continues behind the garage, sort of down this way. And so I think it'll just have to stay as this gravel. I'll just need to clear the weeds out of it. Yeah, that's the shop itself is absolutely massive. I forget the dimensions, but it came out to be just under, right around 1,000 square feet for this garage. And then the one attached to the house is, I think, another 600 or 700 square feet. So just in garage space, my garages now are bigger than the house I used to rent, which should give you some indication of why it was worth it. Honestly, it's just having this much shop space, garage space, blows my mind, and I can't wait to put my touches on it. Kind of shooting this guerrilla style on my phone because, again, living out of boxes and I haven't set up my computer. I don't know where my camera gear is, so just bear with me. So I used to be down in South Bay, South San Francisco Bay, Silicon Valley, if you know, and that's why the house I was in was a much older house built in the 50s, and because I was a renter, I just couldn't do anything to it. And what very minor and little improvements I was able to make in the garage, like lighting and such, that was about it. That's all I could do. And so now I found this place. Really, everything moved super quick. I went from I'll never own a house and self-harm through Zillow to holy shit, we got to move in like 3 weeks. And that's just about how fast it went. I think we came and looked at this house right before the 4th of July. and our move-in date was before the end of July. So the whole process just went super, super quick. Yes, it's an older house. It was built in the 70s. It's still 20 plus years newer than the house I was just in, and it features wiring that won't set the house on fire. So that's a plus. Like I said, we got this garage, all this garage space, like 1,700 and change worth of just garage space. And then the house itself is another 2,800 square feet. And I haven't even mentioned the pool yet. So with all of that, of course, new to me house stuff, there's projects, the pool needs work, the house needs a little bit of work. Old houses are like project cars, like there's always something. So I'm just, everything's been moving so fast. I just really haven't had time to process. I wanted to follow up on the move, how the move went, how what I thought would happen happened, and so on. So first, let's talk about moving project cars. For the MK, I tried to put as much stuff in the car to keep it with the car, mostly for organizational bits. Like I didn't want to lose things or have it end up in boxes and then not remember where it was and have to fish through everything to find it. So putting major components or as much as I could in the car, mounting the body to the car, the diffuser, all of that worked fantastic. And to keep it from blowing out on the road, we used this blue protective wrap, and we just wrapped basically the whole car. We had it wrapped over the front, we had it wrapped over the motor, we had it wrapped everywhere. And I was worried that it might blow off, or if air got under it, that it would just take pieces off. And it made the whole trip successfully. Nothing blew off, nothing blew out. So it couldn't have gone any better with regards to the MK. On to the toolbox. This is pretty much what I ended up doing, is I took all of the individual socket trays and just wrapped them up in pallet wrap. That way the sockets stayed organized, and it was much easier to pull all these out of the tray to take the trays in and out. However, there were casualties. So most of these drawers went back in perfectly fine. However, 2 of them did not. And I think it was mostly luck that we got as far as we did. So what we found was when you're putting the drawers in with these sliders, there's this bearing carrier that can slide forward and back. And almost all of them had this bearing carrier to the front, except for these 2 drawers. And on these 2 drawers, the bearing carrier was actually pushed back and farther back. And what had happened was you get the drawer in through this part, and by the time it gets to these ball bearing sliders, the drawer just screws them all up, and it bends this little track that they set in, and then it just shits all the bearings out. So I have to replace the sliders on the cabinet, and then I can put those drawers back in. But otherwise, the rest of the drawers went in without issue. There are replacement slides available for these. You need to contact Harbor Freight, and then there's actually a sticker on the back of this unit with like a serial number or a part number, because they're built out of different factories, and the part numbers for the slides can differ based on which factory and time it was built. Kumo has loved the new house. He gets to run around in our much bigger yard. I don't think I've seen him as active as he is here. Onto stuff. These little carts work to dream, just loading them up. And again, pallet wrap saves the day. And then these bins and totes just worked great. Some of them are falling apart. This is probably the last trip that they'll make. So yeah, all the cars made it just fine. I ended up having to drive the Ultima, but all my friends, and you know who you are, as a reward for helping pack the truck and unpack the truck, got to drive the various cars up to the new place. And so Kumo got to come up in the Civic because he loves that car. And then we had people in all the rest of the cars living the dream. And as a result, everything made it up okay. The Ultima was a bit of a brutal drive because I had to bring it up late morning, midday. So just cooking in the sun in traffic. But I was all too happy to get back home and jump in the pool. Storage-wise, what I'm thinking is I'm trying to think two ways about things. And I would love to have like pallet racking or like smaller scale pallet racking, if that's a thing, like 3/4 scale, to hold the wheels and or set the wheels up as maybe a backdrop or display type of thing down the side. I don't want to try and burn too much space with storage. Ditto for this back wall here. I would just like some additional storage. One future project is, as you can see, there's no insulation on the roof. And if we turn around, you can see there's some vents up there. What I would like to do is I would actually like to insulate this and probably bring it down. And I haven't peeked behind the walls yet, but they probably need insulation as well. And I would love to put in probably a couple mini splits based on the size of this place. But drop in a mini split over here and then one on the other side and just have them operate in unison. As I mentioned before, I moved up here from South Bay and now I'm in the Sacramento area. And boy, it gets hot. I think every day since we moved in, it's been over 100, like 105, 110. So that's not really conducive to working in the garage. I think I worked out here for all of 20 minutes before I was sweating buckets and just totally out of juice. I think that's gonna basically wrap it up. Not much to show you on the cars, just wanted to show you the space and why it was all of a sudden and why it was worth it. I really am absolutely stoked. It's one thing to be a homeowner, but to, well, in this regard, to have a house attached to the shop of your dreams is great. Yeah, it needs a little bit of love. Work hard, guys. We understand projects. We get it. It'll get built. It'll get done. It may take a little time, but we'll do it. And I can't wait to see what this place looks like in year 2 or year 3 even. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Updates may be a little rough here and there, just as trying to get settled, moved in and such. But thanks for your patience, and I'll see you guys next time.